All right, welcome back live on the One with Trouble 2 Experience Radio Show. Thanks for those who are about to join us. My guest is here. She's an awesome woman. She's a life coach and leadership coach. I'm going to get more into her story, what she does a little bit. This is Miss Raphaela Browne. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How was your week?
Going good. Can't complain.
Yes, wonderful. So, one thing I want to ask you, two questions I want to ask you before we get started more in depth about you. What you are thankful for, and what makes Raphaela great?
Wow. So what am I thankful for? Definitely thankful for good health in life, but also the ability to do what I love. So grateful for that.
Okay.
And what was the second one?
What makes you great?
What makes me great? Let me chew on that for a little bit. What makes me great is my ability to see the strengths in others and pull that out of them. Being able to hear what's not being said and to really listen to people and support them on their journey.
All right, wonderful. So Raphaela is, like I said, is a certified life and leadership coach, helping women in leadership, CEOs, executives, founders, and directors who feel overwhelmed and stretched thin regarding more time for themselves, more energy, and ultimately a peace of mind. Also known as a catalyst coach for CEOs, women, Raphaela's ability is to get to the root of the problems and create strategies to make her a super weapon for growth and change for her clients. So she is also the founder of Raphaela Browne Enterprises, LLC, to provide effective services through coaching and workshops for corporate companies and individuals, along with a new upcoming self-paced course for all-round women in need of long-term relief. Wow, so you do a whole lot. So before I wanted to tell you the audience who you were, but let's go back to in the beginning. What was you like growing up?
Oh, wow. So we're going to take it back here.
Yes.
We're going way back.
Yes.
All right. So, what I can say when I was like growing up, definitely more on the quiet side. I could say I was shy growing up, but always had a passion for learning and growing and being creative, right? And always like a good laugh. That's me. I was always silly and laughing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the gist of it. I was definitely the quiet girl who always wanted to do her best and bring her best and show up at her best. And sometimes I like to say that I was a little bit, didn't always fit in, which was uncomfortable. But now I'm okay with it. And so, yeah, that's a bit about me growing up.
So going back, you said just about you was okay not being fit in, and that's something I want to say too. That we wasn't born to fit in, we was born to stand out.
Right.
I feel the same way you said that. I was like, I had to be in that corner because we was born to stand out. A lot of times we try to fit in, we end up it's not good for ourselves. And you also said you was quiet growing up. What was the moment in that your journey that you broke out of that shell that said I'm not gonna be quiet anymore? What was that moment for you?
I think that was a ongoing journey, right? Because you learn to be good and get the good grades and make people proud and stay in your lane. But I continued on that journey. I definitely I went to college. I just wanted to have that dream, best 9-to-5 job. I think what broke me out of it was when I got to a situation when my back was up against the wall, right? Sometimes God puts you in situations where you're just like, all right, it's either you going to make this happen or, you're just going to continue being in this cycle.
Right.
And so for me, and that didn't really happen, I like to say not until I was in my 30s where I feel like I broke out.
Wow.
And if I want to take it back even further,
Go ahead, take your time. Take your time.
Becoming a mother really made me step into my own and I like to say my daughter, she provided me with wisdom. And so, but anyway, back to me stepping out and being more bold and vocal. It was really when I was in a job situation that wasn't right for me, and learning that it's okay to break out of the box that you thought you were supposed to be in and what people set for you. And so, I stepped out on faith and started my business from there.
So what's first, the life coaching thing or the enterprises that you started? What came first, and how they got started?
Well, I started the business. I later named it Raphaela Enterprises. It was always, after my name. But how it happened is, and I really like to say that I believe I always was doing coaching. Even before I had a name to it, I was doing it. And that really came from some of the teams that I worked with. I always loved working with my teams at my past jobs. I always wanted to support people to be the best in their work. So you're not just coming to work and blah, 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 I'm here, get the paycheck, but how can you make it work for you? What are your strengths? How can you thrive in your role? And let's understand that this is not your last stop, right?
Right.
You're not working here forever. My job is to help you to move out of here and get to where you're supposed to be. So I was coaching before I had a name, knew the name of it, and my team would really encourage me and let me know. And it came a point, it was a certain staff person I was working with. He excelled, he's doing really well in his business now. But at the time, and this is probably I can't believe we're in 2020. So maybe it was like 10 years ago or
wow.
so.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
That's so crazy. But he looked at me and he said, you really helped me, right?
Right.
What is it that you want to do? And I didn't even think about it. I was like, wow, let me take a look and reflect on what I want to do with my life on this journey.
So you used to say you was always a coach in some capacity for your past job. So what made you steps to decide, what made you decide to take that next step and become certified? What steps you had to take to do that?
Okay, so once I took a leap of faith, and I like to say it's not for the faint of heart, it's not for everybody, but it was for me. And I stepped out, left the job that I was at, and I went to start my business. I knew I had the capacity to always do it. It was innate, it was within me. But for me, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just playing with people's lives. I wanted to learn what are the skills, what are the techniques, what is needed to really support people from getting from here to there, and being more intentional with that. And so I went to, it was the CAP Institute, so Coaching in Positive Psychology with Valerie Burton, and I got my certification from there. And then I was like, okay, well, 2015, got my LLC, hung out my shingles, and say, hey, I'm in business now. But, even with that was a journey, right? Because I was used to being, of course, 9 to 5, nonprofit leadership and management, putting together programs and services for youth in the community, that whole thing. That was my journey. I did that for almost 15 years.
Wow.
So business was new. And so I had to crawl to walk to get to where I am now. And I'm still learning.
Okay. So I read things, so it says that you particularly work with women in leadership that are executives, CEOs, founders, directors who have been overwhelmed and stress-free. They need more time to get more time for themselves. So why that particular group of women?
I think
because that was you at some point.
Was me.
Oh, okay.
That was me, and I can a million times relate to that. And whereas I left the place of employment where I was at to start this business, right? I felt like it was, instead of women in corporate settings or corporate-like settings feeling like, man, I gotta leave. If that's their concern and choice, they can. But what would it be like to give them the tools and skills to let them know you can thrive here, and we need you here to make that difference. So what would it be like for me to support them so they can be the best that they can right where they're at?
Right.
So that's what I wanted to do. And then to let them know, like, you got options, you got choices. You don't have to feel like you're stuck. So.
Right. So that's a good point. So in terms of you're stuck because a lot of times we get stuck in being complacent being complacent and not taking that leap of faith because we gotta know that God's with us. Again, God will tell you and He'll show you something for a person or for something that it's time for you to make that move and time to make that big step. So my question is, if a woman were to sign up for your services or coaching program, what will that entail?
Well, it really depends on what they're looking for. So let's just go with the woman who's like almost near burnt out, stretched thin, feeling like they have to do all this work, stay up late to maintain, right? Really what they would need to do is first, you can go to my website, RaphaelaBrowne.com, or you can email me easily, info@RaphaelaBrowne.com, reach out to me and let me know that you're interested. And then we can connect to have a call, right? And then through that call, I'll learn more about what it is that you're looking for support on your journey. And I'll provide, all of my services is tailored to what the need is.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't get the same thing.
That's true. So you said murder. Okay. So also I wanted to, something that you read. So what has been the greatest joy of being a life coach in the past? You've done it for like 5 years now, 5 years?
Yeah.
You said 2015.
Yeah.
What has been the greatest joy and what has been the greatest challenge?
Okay. The greatest joy, and this may sound cliche, but it's definitely seeing women, and I do work with some men,
Okay.
but also seeing them being able to be like, wow, I never knew I had these options, right? Oh, I never knew I could say it like this, right? Because, I'm thinking about some of the women in the workplace who might feel like they're muted, might feel like they're being squashed down, and they just have to go along to get along. Being able to provide them with effective ways to communicate, right? Sometimes we think about self-care as which is fine, right? Because I'm about getting my hair done, nails and all that. But self-care is also being able to speak up for yourself, right? A lot of times there are people who are strong for everyone. We take care of everyone. We look out for everyone. We're running around for everyone, but we don't extend that same compassion for ourselves, right? So being able to give them the skills to effectively communicate on their own behalf, right? Being able to create healthy boundaries, being able to teach them how to say no effectively. Because there's so many ways you could say no, right? And I feel like I didn't answer your question, but what was it again? I may have missed it.
It was your greatest joy of being a life coach, or what's been your biggest challenge?
So the greatest joy is helping people get to where they want to be and letting them know that they have options. There's a certain freedom in that.
Right.
The greatest challenge, I can say, was really, and I think I said it earlier, was really starting from the ground level with learning business and working my way up. It's a challenge doing this on your own, being self-employed. You're responsible for your health care. You're responsible for, maybe bringing in the income. If you got a family, you're responsible for taking care of them. So that has been a challenge. But what I will say is along the way, I'm being all the way real. God will provide.
Yes, He will. Yes,
He
He will.
Provisions, even when you least likely, when you want to give up, He will come through. So
that's the truth. That's the truth. I've been there in that space in terms of feeling my grade up, had the grade I want to give up, But he has a sign. He had a mentee that will reach out to you and say, hey, how's it going? That will get though it could be a text message. I'll get you. Okay, I keep going. So because you never know who's watching you. You never know who you're inspiring. That's all that stuff. Because I think that's very important in terms of self-care. Also, it's more than getting nails done, a haircut. It's about maybe taking a nap and also being your own advocate and learn how to say no effectively too. I think that's very knowing to get their voice out there. So. And
I want to add something to that in regards to self-care. It's also recognizing that you don't have to do it alone, right?
Right.
And I know there are men who carry a heavy load too, and I'm talking to the women right now. You don't have to, take off your cape. You don't have to be Superwoman all the time. You really don't even have to be her, right?
Right.
You have resources around you that you can utilize, right? And being able to recognize what they are and tap into it. Who's your support system? Those types of things. But I won't go too deep.
Yeah. So you say you started at 2015, and let's see, what did you do to put yourself out there? Did you go to different events? Did you market yourself? How did you make that happen? What did you do? Because I'm trying to give people who are watching who thought about going their own, maybe some insight on how they did it. How some people like you did it. How did you do that?
When I first started, it was before I got my official LLC in 2015, while I was still getting my certification, I sent out an email. I let people know what I was doing.
Right.
And share with them hey, this is my journey, this is where I'm going. If you're interested, connect with me. Definitely it's important to get out there and connect with people. But what I will say, and which I've learned on this journey, is everybody has their own way of doing things. There's no cookie cutter to say you got to do it like this. There are people who are amazing on social media. They're killing it. And social media is an important aspect of it. And there are people, granted, with COVID, we can't get out like we used to.
Yeah.
But there are people who are just amazing in person and connect with that energy. So you really got to tap into what it is that you are strong in. And even with COVID, so maybe it's not going live, but maybe you're going in different groups, you're connecting with different people, and you're speaking that way. But everybody has to find their own path.
Right, that's true. So what advice would you give to your younger self now? Your younger self years younger. What advice would you give to that person, that young Raphaela?
I'll say this again, and I would say to her, I would say, you don't have to fit in. Forget that.
Right.
Be who you are. Be your weird, crazy, funny self, and you will attract the right people to you. You don't have to tone it down or get big to get with some group. You just literally kill it being yourself and be more of it every day.
That's a great answer. So what's next for you?
So what's next for me is right now I am working on that self-paced course. I'm looking to bring that out, God willing, in the spring. Just looking for other avenues for women to support themselves. If they cannot connect with me through one-on-one coaching, here's another way that you can do within the group capacity and with the course to handle, self-care, the effective communication, that whole thing as well. So, online course, that's what's next.
Okay. I have a question. Are you an author or no?
Not particularly, not with my own. I did contribute to a book. This was when I first started.
Okay, you're an author?
I contributed to a book before.
Okay, so I know you say you work with women. Do you work with young women too, like girls in high school and college, trying to figure out their way? Or do you work with them too, or no?
My demographic is definitely older women, probably. I'm looking at from 30 on up.
Oh, okay.
However, I have no problem talking to younger women, speaking into their lives, providing tools and tips for them as well. Yeah.
Right, because like I said, we do pedigree this, and I do one workshops, and one of the main workshops we do is self-care. We do self-care, for young women, and also we do like something called Reina, which is queen in Spanish. Basically to have women talk in person to young women. You know what I mean? Basically to empower them, to motivate them going forward. To see value in themselves and not fit in, just be okay. Be okay with your own selves. I mean, hearing with people like yourself, other people that were in their shoes and got out of that mindset of trying to fit in, but to be successful on their own. I think that's very, very important.
It is, and to start young, let's pour that into them now.
Yeah. So my two more questions. Where people can find you at for more information about you and your coaching services and how they can get started. So anything like that. So.
Well, first thing, you can find me at RaphaelaBrowne.com. I love hanging out on Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram at Raphaela Browne. Check out my stories, check out my page. Also, if we can connect on LinkedIn, again, Raphaela Browne on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. And with Facebook, my Facebook page is The Catalyst Coach.
The Catalyst Coach.
Yeah. So those are my hangout spots online. But definitely interested in services and you're ready, just RaphaelaBrowne.com.
I want to ask you, why did you call yourself the Catalyst Coach? I thought it was catchy. What they call you, the Catalyst Coach?
So this came from a coach that I work with, and so I honestly wouldn't have named myself. She gave me that nickname.
Right.
Her name is Shamika Deeds. And she was like, she said, you about sparking change, right? She said, you bring change to people's lives, in an effective way.
Right.
You, within your work, you spark something that makes that happen. And so she was like, oh no, you're the catalyst. I was like, okay. I was like, well, let's rock with it. Okay, I'm the catalyst.
I think that's catchy too. They catchy name. It catches people. It draws attention to people. Like the Catalyst Coach. I like it's catchy. It's like, oh, okay, it's different. I like it. So, so I wanted to say thank you so much for being a guest on my show. I'm looking for that course in the spring of a self-paced coach for women. So because I think that we had to uplift each other better and support each other better going forward to 2021. Because we went through 2020, we know what happened, we know what we dealt with, but now we got to be prepared for 2021 and in terms of what your plan is, how effectively to communicate, how to be your own advocate, use your own voice, and feel like that. And I'm definitely gonna look into your services for not for me, but people that I know that want to support. Because at the end of the day, it's about sharing resources and make sure people take advantage of that. Okay, and just be intentional about their growth and not just financially, but in terms of mentally and emotionally, because you gotta be in the right frame of mind to do well handling finances. So
you said that the right mentally, and 2020 has tested a lot of people mentally. So being prepared to go forward is important. Getting that support.
You're right, and like you said, getting the right support too. It's okay. You don't have to fear the box. You don't have to be quiet and silent. You can just I don't want people to suffer in silence.
Yes.
So because that's something that I learned myself personally that. So I learned how to get help, support, and just add support. Because I'm very prideful in terms I'm trying to do it my own. I got God on my side, but it's like, okay, God tell you, go get help. Ask for help. We got to do it,
Right. That's why we're here, to support each other. Exactly.
So, again, thank you so much for being part of a guest on my show. Thank you for coming on a Saturday. Nice Saturday and that for one. Nice Saturday and that, Why not? Exactly. For those who are watching, favor join us. How you watch the replay on our platforms, on the Instagram Live, on my page, and also on Facebook page, along with Charles to Experience Radio Show. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of Saturday. Go outside. Make sure you wear your mask. Be safe out here. Be grateful. Be thankful for your God's done for you. And also enjoy the rest of your weekend and be safe. I hope y'all have a good rest of this weekend and just stay positive and stay great.